Hello everyone, Desiree here again, and today I'm going to be featuring the coconut, or as some people call it, the coconut. Now, what is a coconut? It's a very versatile plant. It's a very versatile and amazing plant. Reminds me of the song that Ryan Kayabayab penned sometime, I think, back in the early 90s, and popularized by the group Smoky Mountains, which the verse goes like this: the coconut nut is a giant nut. If you eat too much, you'll get very fat. Now, the coconut nut is a big, big nut, but this delicious nut is not a nut. Okay, well, I can't sing. Never claimed to have been able to sing, but yes. So, what really is a coconut? Well, there have been some things bandied around saying that the coconut, is it a nut? Is it a seed? Is it a fruit? Well, guess what? Amazingly, this thing is all three. Okay, so it's a fruit of the coconut palm. And one amazing thing about the coconut palm, including whatever it bears, whether it's a fruit, a nut, or a seed, is that it is one of the most useful and versatile trees in the world. It is often referred to as as a tree of life, just because it has so many uses. Every single part of the coconut can be used for something. It provides food. It provides fuel in some cases. It's used in cosmetics, in folk medicine, and building materials. For example, back in Jamaica, I used to know about the thatch houses. Way back when, when they used to thatch houses and made the wattle and the daub, which wattle is what you use, you get from the bamboo, and the daub would be the mud that you daub over it to, shut out the holes in it. But the top of that house, or hut, if you want to call it, would be shingled, for the want of a better term, with the coconut palm leaves. Okay, so that it can be used in building. It was if you look at the coconut itself, this one isn't so cleanly stripped. So the outer husk is there, and underneath the outer husk is this fibrous material. You see it right there? Used way back when to fill up mattresses, before we had all these high technological mattresses. This was what we call kaya in Jamaica. The coconut, also another use that for the actual coconut fruit, seed, nut, whatever. The outer part there, the green part that you would take off, which is a husk, in order to get to this hard shell here. In Jamaica, we would take that off, they'd saw it in half, and way back when, before we had floor polishers and all these vacuum things, that is what would be used. After you apply the floor polish to the wood floor, because it would be wood floor, you would use that brush that you make from the husk to keep the house shine. Yes, so there are so many uses that the coconut can be put to the tree, the palm, the actual fruit. So these are some of the things. Now I can show you some other things. So let me just clear my little kaya away. And you know what, guys? This is really nutritious and good if you have flowers, especially those flowers that don't like a lot of water, or or saprophytes. They grow on trees and need support, but they don't really eat anything from the tree or destroy it. Those can be. This is very good to be added to these kinds of plants. Okay, the orchid, especially the orchid will do very well with this added to its soil. It's usually some kind of rocky thing or fibrous thing. All right, so before we move on to look at what are some of the benefits, I just want to show you some of the things that just the coconut nut itself has been used for, which is really interesting. And of course, you know that, and I'm showing you the milk here, and of course this has been commercialized, and I'm not doing any kind of advertisement, but you know, you get the milk from the coconut, and many people have now been able to benefit from the coconut by buying the canned ones if you don't know how to process it at home yourself. For me though, I prefer the actual coconut milk that I make, because it gives you that authentic taste. There's never ever the coconutty flavor that you usually get from the fresh coconut that you'll get from the coconut can or the cream that is there. But it's still pretty good. Of course, we all know about the coconut flakes, and these can be used in a variety of things. You know, making coconut macaroons, as it's called here in the US. We use the flakes, and we would grate it instead of putting it in the blender, so we can get it coming out, you know, not wet, but moist, and that's used to make our local coconut cakes, what we call drops and grater cakes. Those are yum yum. I love them. I just have to now start, you know, considering the sugar, because sugar is added to that. Of course, the all enduring and delicious, flavorful, and nutritious coconut oil. Make sure if you're gonna use coconut oil, you buy the virgin one, usually the organic, which is my favorite. Or sometimes I do make my own coconut oil that has a beautiful flavor. It's different. You can almost eat it like butter on your bread or on whatever. It really has a fragrance there and a taste that is out of this world. So here you see how many things just the nut itself is used for. Of course, we have the coconut flour, and since I cannot have gluten, it makes me sick, I always have to have this in my pantry. The coconut flour to be used gluten-free, to be used in all kinds of things. I even make my own coconut flour when I'm ready, but I'm not ready right now, so I do get this, of course, again, organic. So always, if you can, choose to go organic. So that's the coconut flour. And of course, ta-da! I love this too, is the dried milk powder, coconut milk powder. Just like you can get the dried milk powder or from cow's milk, here we have a plant-based alternative. You can use it in your coffee, do whatever, you know, whatever you want to use dried coconut or dried milk powder for. This is a great tasting, nutritious substitute, plant-based, if you're choosing to eat plant-based, and or if you just want an alternative and you want to taste the exotic flavor of that. Of course, even when I was a child, we used to get the coconut shells. I really don't know how they did it, but the men, they would get the coconut out of it, the flesh, and the flesh is quite hard. So I don't know how they do it, but they keep the shell intact. And then this, now you clear all of this off and shave down this and everything and sandpaper it, can make it into little piggy banks. Well, not really piggy banks, but you know, little banks, because it's not a piggy. I probably would call it a coconutty bank. So here we have what I'm saying, that we can use it to do all sorts of things. We even use it to make containers. So it's really a very versatile, very useful plant / fruit. Now here I have, I bet you don't know what this is. It's a pair of earrings made from the shell. And you notice how shiny the shell is. So it's the same way if we're going to do the little piggy banks. The outer part of the coconut shell would be sanded down and then lacquered or whatever, and you have a perfectly great pair of earrings. Looks nice on me when I'm ready to dress up in my cultural stuff. And so there you have it. These are just some of the things that the coconut can be used for. Oh, here we have, of course, Tana, coconut sugar. Coconut sugar is low glycemic. If you're watching your intake of sweetness, sweet things, and you don't really want to use cane sugar or whatever, you can switch to the flavorful alternative, low glycemic coconut sugar. And this I love a lot. It's the coconut nectar. It's made. This is the nectar is extracted, I think, from the flower. You know, there's a flower that comes up when the coconut decides to bear before it gets to this hard stage. So the flower, there's a flower there. So the sap or the nectar is extracted from it. This is also great, low glycemic, very good for you. In terms of the nutrients you get from it, but also because if you're watching your sugar intake, whether for weight loss or because of pre-diabetes or diabetes, this is a great alternative. It doesn't, the good thing is that it doesn't have the strong coconut flavor. It doesn't have that because it's not taken from the flesh of the coconut. So it's great to be used. It comes out a little dark, but that really dissipates when you mix it into whatever it is that you want to use to sweeten. All right, so those are some of the uses or the things that the coconut nut itself is put to. It's as I said, as you can see, it's a very versatile fruit and a tree. It really can be used in every way, and as I said before, every part of the coconut, palm, tree, nut, fruit, seed is utilized in some way to make something. So you don't. So even the tree itself, you don't need to when you chop it down, you don't need to throw it out. It's very useful. So now the dried flesh of the coconut, when it's dried, like what I showed you there, the coconut flakes, it's called copra. And when you wouldn't flake it out, but you would press it in order to get oil from it. So we actually have copra factories in Jamaica where the oil is pressed from the dried coconut in order to produce the cold pressed virgin oil. All right, there's of course, we do have the alternative where local folk, we don't have no coconut press. So what we do is that we would extract the milk from the coconut flesh when we open it and either grate it or put it in the blender. And then we boil that down, and the more there's a process that you use. You boil it down, and you get to extract the oil from it. There's another cold press I would call it, way of extracting oil also. In terms of just being at home, you can put it out in the sun, and of course the oil is going to separate from the cream of the coconut after a while, and there you have your cold press coconut oil. Very, very flavorful again, as I said. I mean, it tastes so much different from the commercialized coconut oil, the available commercial coconut oil. Although, I'm not going to knock the commercial ones that you buy, because it also has a real nice flavor and taste. It's just that it's not as authentic as the real thing that you make at home. So yeah, the coconut is an interesting plant. It's an interesting nut, seed, or fruit. Now, the coconut water is considered the father of modern tissue culture science. So they use that in terms of that, and I won't go into that right now because I'm not a scientist, but yes. Now, one of the biggest benefits of the coconut, or the coconut oil, is that, well, not just the oil, but it's antibacterial, it's antiviral, it's antifungal, and antiparasite. So, go figure. The coconut, you can use it to brush your teeth. There's an old ancient custom called oil pulling. That's what you use for oil pulling. Coconut oil. you get your freshly made coconut oil, or well, the organic ones here, and the virgin coconut oil. Please don't use the refined one. And of course, I'm sure many of you have know the concept of oil pulling, where you when you get up in the morning before you do anything else, you put about a tablespoon, maybe less, depending on how much you want in your mouth, and you gargle and wash your mouth and your teeth and your tongue with it for, I think, about 20 minutes. You keep it in your mouth and you move it from side to side, up and down, up and down, side to side, side to side. Keep moving it, because this is the way in which the properties will work on your teeth to keep your teeth clean, and also to help whiten your teeth gradually over time. So it's not any of those bleaching things that will destroy the enamel of your teeth, but it will just give your teeth a really nice look. Oil pulling. So, and of course, coconut is used in so many other things, deodorants, and even in commercially made toothpastes. Sometimes when I feel up to it, I make my own toothpaste. I include mostly coconut and some bicarbonate of soda. And if you want to have a little minty taste in it, then you can use some mint essential oil. That will just a few drops. Don't do too much, because the mint essential oil is really, really strong. And if you even want to imitate the taste of the commercial toothpaste, then you can add a little stevia or something there that would give it a slight sweet. And there you go. You got your coconut toothpaste, homemade. So this coconut is like a wonder, more than a wonder thing. It's great. Now I want to show you some of the things that how we can utilize the coconut nut itself. But before, and I'm doing this because suggestions have been coming in that I shouldn't just say, okay, these are the benefits and be done, but at least provide some ideas on how these foods that I'm talking about can be utilized, how you can prepare them, and how you can enjoy them. So I will do that as a last thing, but let's just talk a little bit more about the coconut. So I said that coconuts are antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and antiparasite. Now, what are some of the benefits of the coconut? Well, I'm going to outline just 7 of them for you, because we don't have a lot of time to go into the scientific thing. Just know that it's good for you, and these are the benefits. So it provides a good source of good fat. And we all know that we need good fat in our diets to metabolize and to do to have other kinds of like the vitamins and minerals, so that you can absorb those. Good fat is also provides a sense of satiation or satiety, so that you feel full. So good fats including your food will help you in terms of weight loss, because you're gonna feel full and satisfied, even if you're eating less, or you are on a I wouldn't say restricted diet, because I don't believe in restricting your diet. I do believe in intermittent fasting. So of course, that's just the window of time that you have to eat is restricted, but you would try to eat your 3 meals per day during that time as you start off, and then of course as you go along, you might adjust as time goes by and you get used to the intermittent fasting. But it's not really a fast, it's just that you rest your body, which you do at night. So it's quite easy to incorporate into your health and wellness routine. Of course, the coconut also enhances weight loss, and I did just go into some of the ways in which it does, with the good fat and the feeling of satiety, but it is also high in fiber. So I did break one of the coconuts already, and I'm going to show you how at the end how I would make the milk. But this is the actual, that's the flesh. I've cut it up in little pieces, little squares. I don't think these are cubes. It's about 6 sides. Anyway, we're just into little squares. And at home, again, we eat that part. We can just sit and eat that. We want to spit out the trash or the flakes or the residue, fine, but you also can swallow that. That is very high in fiber. Now, another thing about the coconut is this is a dry form. I'm sorry I could have gotten one, but I didn't. But you also have, before you take the husk off of it, the green ones, the young ones, where when you open that, the flesh is actually soft like a jelly type thing. And that, excuse me, I did put a piece of the coconut in my mouth. Okay. You can scrape that out with a spoon and just eat it like that. That's very, very, very nutritious. But in this case now we have the hard coconut flesh here, the white part that comes on the inside of this hard shell that we have. And I'm going to show you in a bit how I make my coconut milk. And of course, we make it, we can drink it, but we also include it in all kinds of recipes to enhance the flavor and to give us some more added benefits. The coconut also helps to keep you hydrated. Now, I don't know if you can hear it because there's water inside there, and that is also very good and very nutritious for you to drink. Before it's opened, it's sterile, so you know it's a really very clean. And of course, as I said, the coconut has all these antimicrobial and antibacterial and whatever properties. So there it is. It also helps to improve your skin by your eating it, but also it can be used on your skin. Most times I will prepare my own thing. I don't really buy commercial lotion or anything, so I will combine some coconut oil with some shea butter and other things to make a whipped body cream for myself. And of course you can use it straight too. When I was growing up in the country, that's what we did. We didn't buy conditioners and hair oils and stuff. We just used our own coconut oil. We used it to rub on our skin. Babies were rubbed down in it, and you know it was thought to be something that would give the baby a very smooth, very healthy, glowing skin. So instead of buying the commercial baby oils that were on the market, the baby as well as us, we would use it on our skin and on our hair. So that's really a very economical because we had that, so we used it. It was free of all those chemicals, the perfumes and the fragrances that might not be too good for you. And of course, another quality or another benefit of using the coconut or the coconut oil is that it helps with protecting you from the sun. Protects you. You can use it to help you with that. It protects you from the UV rays and all of that from the sun. Okay, so it's not a suntan lotion. It's a more a protector cover for your skin from the harshness of the sun. It fights bacteria, and of course, I don't need to say anymore because, as we said, of course, it has the antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and antiparasite qualities about it. It ensures healthy teeth and bones. Again, we go back to keeping your teeth healthy, oil pulling, or using a coconut oil-based toothpaste, or even with what it provides, some of the benefits it provides for your bones, the calcium and all of that's in it. So that's great. And of course, it also helps to eliminate scalp infection. So again, all those nice, wonderful qualities. So the coconut is a fruit, it's a nut, it's a seed. Okay. Now, specifically, the coconut is what is called a drupe, D-R-U-P-E. I don't know if it's drupe. I didn't see an accent on it, so I'm thinking it's drupe. It's a drupe, like mangoes or cherries. Who knew? Now, these are fruits that have an inner flesh and then a seed surrounded by a hard flesh. So this is what the coconut is likened to what we would see with a mango, okay, or with cherries, where you have that outer soft flesh, then the skin and then the seed inside or whatever. So let me move on to saying how I would use this, one way in which I would use this coconut, how I would prepare it or process it, minimally for good use. So you all know the coconut is really hard. So it might seem to be a bit off a challenge to get the coconut open. But what I do is I have a handy hammer. It's part of my kitchen tools because I use the coconut very often. So I would hold the thing. I hope it doesn't crack open too wide. But I would just hold it in my hand and hit it a couple of times hard, and it's already cracked now. And of course, some coconuts, when you buy them, you'll see that there is a groove put into them right around the circumference of the coconut, which you can actually hit, and it in most cases will open like that. But this one doesn't have it. This is how I'm used to it. But once it's cracked like that, I don't want the water to waste, so I would just use a table knife. I insert it and then I just hold it, okay, like that, and you can see the water oozing out. Oh well, okay, and that's the water. Keeps you very hydrated, full of all kinds of minerals and vitamins, and of course helps with dehydration. So yeah, and I drain all of that out so I don't make a mess, which I did just by that. And then I put that aside, of course, probably drink it a little later. So that's the coconut water. And then what I would do, let me just clean up this little mess I made, and then I would just proceed to finish, giving it a few whacks until it opens up like this. See, it opens up. Now, how do I get it out of the shell? I usually just rinse off the coconut in most cases, or after it's after we have taken the shell out, check it out of the shell, we might do that. But this is how I traditionally learned to do it. So I always use a knife, but not a sharp knife, just a table knife, because you don't want it to slip and injure you in any way. And I use my towels in the kitchen, and I would use the front of the knife or the point, sort of like the side, and just pry the coconut up like that. See, comes up. Okay, this one sticks a little bit. So again, I pry it all off, and there, that's as easy as that. Or there is a newish other way that I have seen people use, and I think that's an easier way to open your coconut, is to, if you have a stove, like a gas stove that you have the open flame on it, then you can just when you crack open the coconut, there's my hammer, and you want to, all right, so this is almost more than half. So say I crack another piece off, and this is what I've seen people do now, is you'd put it on the heat of the stove, and maybe just, if it's a stove with flame, like as I said, the gas stove, you keep it there for about 10-11 seconds, not long. Just make sure that when you're ready to take it off, you use your pot holder or something so you don't burn yourself. I don't have that, but I've tried it on the eye of this stove, and I've found that it comes off easily if I let it warm up a little bit. So that's how it would be done. That's an easier way, although you need to be careful when it comes to the flame and the fire. So usually I would take it off, and then there, see, I didn't even have to use a knife although mine's not fully warmed up. So if I leave it there to warm up a little bit more, I guess I'd have to leave it there for longer than 11 seconds, but not too long, because you don't want to have any flames coming up over that. Then it's easy. It's easy to pry the coconut, hard coconut thing out. So let me see. Well, I'm gonna use this because I don't have an open end. So there, it comes out much easier there than when I just do it without without heating it up. But as I said, if you have a stove with a flame, an open flame like a gas stove, then of course that would be wonderful. Let me get that off. Okay, so now I've shown you, I've opened the coconut, I've poured out the coconut water. The coconut water can be you can just drink that, or you can use it to mix your smoothies or anything else that you're doing. It's quite fine and quite nutritious. And now I'll show you. Now I'm going to get some of my filtered water from the section of my sink here that has the filter on it, because I'm using filtered water. I don't use the other water except for other things, but anything I'm gonna be doing. Now, one of the things that you could do, I'm not gonna do it today, but one of the things that you can do to get your coconut milk to be really creamy is to make your water lukewarm. So here I have filled up, so I've never measured it, but let me see what this says, how many ounces of water is here, or how many cups. For one coconut, I have put about 4 cups of water. So, and here is what we're gonna do, and it's just basic. I'm gonna use my Vitamix here, because the Vitamix is wonderful for really doing this, for getting the. All right, so I'm gonna put it up to the highest, turn it on, and let it run. Okay, so I usually like to let it run for probably about a minute to a minute and a half, because I really want it to be the coconut to be pulverized to a point where I can extract most of the milk out of it. So that's what I do. And of course, here you have it. You already have the milk here. You can see it, but now all I need to do is to strain this off. So I do a 2-step process. So I'm going to get a jug or something, that I can use that I can get my thing in. Oops, I have too many things here. Okay, so I'm gonna get this bowl, because it's gonna serve twofold. Well, now it's a 2-step process. So what I do first, let me get my strainer. What I do first, okay, I strain the most of the, the fiber part off first. So I do that. So this is what I have here. So it's not going to be completely free and smooth because I'm using the strainer, but that's just my first step. So I will use a spoon here to let me move this out of the way, although I'm going to use that again. So I use a spoon, a big enough spoon. Let me find a big enough spoon. Okay, one of these big spoons. I use one of these big spoons here, and I press the let me see if I can show you. I press it out. I press it out from the strainer. Okay, so oops. So I've got to hold it. So I'm gonna press out and leave most of the trash part behind. Maybe you can see, yeah, right there. You can see the milk running out. And this is how I do it first. Get rid of this part. And coincidentally, this is a part you use to make the flour. Once it's all, if you want to make the flour, you gotta squeeze the milk out, or the flour is gonna be too rich. Okay? So you squeeze it all out. There. Squeeze it all out with the spoon through the strainer. Okay. All right. So now what I do next, because I want to get just the milk, so I'm gonna pour it back into the blender right there, and then rinse this out so that it doesn't have any of the residue left in it. Because now I'm gonna make sure I have it fully strained out. Okay, so I have a nut bag. This is 100% cotton. It's unbleached. Okay, it's not dyed, it's not anything, it's just 100% pure cotton, and I bought this on Amazon. There are some ones that have the netty kind of thing, that have the like a cheesecloth, but I don't like that. This will make your milk or whatever juice you're making come without any kind of residue. So what I do here, if you can see, that's the bag, and then you milk it. Now it milks it easier because, of course, I already got rid of a lot of the other part, and so you just milk it. I pretend that you're at the udder of the cow. maybe not. Okay, so I'm milking it. Milk it right out. Make sure your hands are clean with your nails. Yeah. And I'm almost done. Of course, there's gonna be a little bit of the residue left back in the nut bag. Okay. There we go. I squeezed everything out of it, and I can show you just a little bit of that was left. So that's what the strainer didn't get. So that's how I do it. So here we have the milk, and I would pour it out into a bottle. I think I have a bottle over here. A veganese bottle I had. I made sure to clean it out, wash it out really hard. And of course, I'm gonna take my time pouring this out because I'm sure it's, yeah. I think I need a measuring cup. Okay, so I guess I'll just use a measuring cup, scoop it out, and pour it in. That's easier and better. Scoop it out, pour it into the bottle. Let me see. You can see it's milky. It's wonderful. Okay. Oops. Let me see if I can get you to see. Okay. I'm not very good at it. I'm using my phone, and this is my first time doing the whole actions while I'm doing this. But you get the picture, right? You get the picture. I'm almost done, and if you notice, I use a lot of glass and ceramic ware because I don't like plastic. Plastic for me will break down in your food. I might be a little bit touchy about that and discriminating. So, there we have our coconut milk. I did make a little mess here because I didn't have a jug with a spout. But that's how you make your coconut milk at home. Maybe one of these days I'll show you how I make my coconut oil at home. But this is how you make the coconut milk at home. Clean this off. And of course, there are many things you can use a coconut milk to do. You can you can drink it straight. There's no problem with doing that. And of course, if you want to flavor it, what I found is very delicious is you just put a pinch of salt, just a little pinch of salt in it, and of course some vanilla. I usually use well, 100% vanilla extract. That's what I like using. That really gives you the great vanilla taste. Or the ground vanilla. Of course, I do have the pods, but this one is already done for me, the ground one. This will make your coconut milk taste like you're eating vanilla ice cream. That's the ground vanilla seed or pod or whatever that you have. And of course, you might want to add a little sweetener. And again, I would use, if you're blending it up and you want a little sweetness in your thing, maybe 2 or 3 dates can help. Or if you're just gonna drink it straight like this, as I said, just a pinch of salt, some vanilla, some real vanilla extract, and any kind of low glycemic sweetener that you might want. You could use a coconut sugar, but that's gonna turn it into a brownish color. So you might want to keep the milky look or flavor. So I go ahead and I buy things like this. This is an organic. That's my that's my my thing that I put on my label, but it's agave, and this is a light agave, the blue, and agave is a low glycemic sweetener. So you can tip a little bit in that, or you can use some maple syrup. I wouldn't recommend honey because honey is such a strong taste. But maple syrup or agave, I do have some date syrup, but then again, that might give it another brownish taste. But they're all good sweeteners, low glycemic, very healthy for you. And as long as you balance what you eat, you shouldn't have a problem. So there you have it, coconut milk. And there are other things we use it in. Coconut milk adds a wonderful flavor to curry. So like at home, we make curry chicken. Sometimes you use the coconut milk or the cream, because what I will do for tonight, I'm going to leave this in the fridge. And then most of the cream is going to rise to the top. And then it's going to leave a little watery, sort of light milky watery thing, which can be used still, but the cream off of it is great. It's great for use in all kinds of things. So yeah, I use it in curry, chicken curry, or that's what you call it. We call it curry chicken. Of course, or rice and peas. What you guys call red beans and rice, but we just call it rice and peas. That's the red kidney beans. And of course you can use any other bean or peas that is hard and dried, or before. You can use like the gungo peas, or what they call pigeon peas. We can use a dried one, or the fresh one that's just been taken out of the pot and it's not dried yet. You can use that for your rice and peas. Even black beans. I've used black beans when I don't have any red kidney beans. And of course, the rice and bean, or the rice and peas, is really delicious when you use the coconut milk as at least part of the liquid that you're going to cook it down with. Of course, you're going to cook the peas first and everything, and you season up your pot with a little scallion, or green onions as they're called here, some thyme, a little of the allspice or pimento. We usually just drop the pimento seeds, pepper seeds, whatever, in there, or you can grind it up if you want to. It lends a nice flavor to it with all the mixes, and of course a little salt, a little a little seasoning, other seasoning like garlic and all of that can be added, and you make your rice and peas or your rice and bean, and it's really great. You put it on, you let it steam down until all the water is gone and dried out, just like you would cook rice. And there you have it, a delicious meal of rice. Give you your carbs and your energy, and your beans that will give you your protein and fiber and all kinds of other things, and your coconut milk that of course gives you a lot of other things too. So if you have any comments, please, I welcome comments, questions, anything. This has been the longest I've done because I was trying to show how we can utilize this. Let me know what you think. If you think I should just stay back with just talking about other stuff, just the benefits, or if this is a good thing for us to do. I've not really cooked anything, but at least I've shown you how to make the coconut milk. You will experience a difference in taste if you make your own coconut milk at home. And I'm not saying you not to go out and buy the canned one. Of course, I do buy the canned one sometimes. And as you see, I had one right here. But as I said, if you really want to taste the difference and you want to know what the authentic thing tastes like, make your own coconut milk. Use it in your smoothies. Drink it as just as a drink or whatever, you know. And so it's very versatile. Lots of things to do. Well, I've enjoyed showing you something that I have been doing all my life. I can't recall any time before that I've never been involved in the cooking of foods, because in Jamaica, while we were growing up, I don't know about now, but back in the 70s, in the 80s, our parents expected us to be part of all the work in the house. So I learned how to grate coconut because they didn't buy us any blender. And I learned how to extract the milk. I learned how to cook my rice and peas and all the other things that go with it, especially for Sunday dinner. That was all great. Of course, you can even make a bean or pea soup with it too, as a base, almost like a creamy-ish pea soup, we call it, again, with the red kidney beans and all of that. There's so many things. I have to stop now because I can go on and on and on. But I hope you enjoyed what I did and what I've presented here. I am going to talk about something else tomorrow morning. It's gonna be this is my first time ever hearing about it and getting it, so I'm just gonna introduce you to it because I'm excited to see what this tastes like. And this is what they call tiger nut. So I don't know. It's not a nut either. That's interesting. It's a tuber. It comes from Africa. And it can be eaten just as a snack like that, I'm told. I've not tried it yet because I got it in about a day or two ago, and I put it to soak today. But you soak it, and then you're going to put it in the blender again and break it up, and then pour water on top to make a certain kind of milk, tiger nut milk. And I'm told that it's an amazing tasting milk. So I'm gonna see how that goes tomorrow. I'm gonna make that, and also in another upcoming one I will explain to you. This is what is called here. It's called sea moss, but in Jamaica we call it Irish moss, which of course it's one of the other names too. So, and this is great. This is so nutritious. So this is I'm soaking it right now, but it's a seaweed. So it when you soak it, it expands to about 3 to 4 times the amount that I put in there. So it wasn't a lot. I washed all the salt out of it because it's harvested from the sea. I washed all the salt out and made sure it was clean, and then I put it to soak, and it's already bulked up a lot. It's beautiful. You can also use it as a jelly kind of thing. You can use it like gelatin if you want a substitute for meat gelatin, stuff like that. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm so excited. But anyway, I appreciate you, all of you who will be seeing this, and the comments that you will make, and maybe suggestions and all of that. So it was really wonderful sharing this with you. You all have a great day and eat healthy. And I'll see you again in just another day. Thank you.